part here, and I think I'm supposed to click the go live button right now. So I believe we are headed there. Yeah, okay, good. We are online. I hope everybody can see this, and I hope most of you can leave notes. It says, I'm waiting 5 minutes to go. Oh, I think you're here. This is cool. I didn't know you could put chats in ahead of time. Jack and Barb made it. Wow. Last week, I waited about 3 or 4 minutes before I could see people logging on, and I was pretty nervous about that. All right, we know that you're here. I'm going to switch this over to there so it's over the side where I can see you guys. All right. See and hear. Good. Dave made it. Cool. Hi, Dave Teeter. Ah, my goodness. Mm-hmm. Ah. On the web again. Just can't wait to get on the web again. Well, here I am on the life I love is making music for my friends. And I can't wait to get on the web again. On the web again. Going places that I've never been. Seeing things that I may never see again. And I can't wait to get on the web again. On the web again. I'm a stream of data on that electric highway, making lots of friends, insisting that the world keep turning our way. And our way on the web again. Just can't wait to get on the web again. Life I love is making music for my friends. I can't wait to get on the web again. Oh, I can't wait to get on the web again. Do 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 do. Ah, it says Horace Smith, Debbie and I are listening. Hi, you guys. Howdy. Oh, good to see ya. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm a little, I'm a little bit hyped up because some of my equipment wasn't working right as I started out. Plus, I had like 4 hours of online sessions. This wasn't music with my database people, and I didn't get a chance to rest in between. And so I just said, well, okay. And then when stuff started breaking down or not working right, a couple of things wouldn't turn on like they were supposed to. And I went, what's going on? And so that, kind of revs you up a little bit. So here I am, revved up. But okay, Kim is here. Oh, you guys made it. Okay, Kim and Mark weren't sure they were going to make it because their internet has been acting weird. We might still lose you. It's possible, I suppose. Let's do. I want to do one here that is. I think I have to go over to this machine over here to set the drummer up. Let's see if I got the right beat. Oh, that's the. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it. Okay, so for this one, by the way, I found out something else about how this system works here. Apparently, I can see live chat as it's happening, but I cannot go back and answer anything that you guys have said during that time. I did find it at the bottom after the video's over. There was an area called comments, which is different from the chat, and I could see notes down there. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed coming back to the program after it was over and replying to your comments, because some of you were saying things that I wanted to say, yeah, that, and also, but I couldn't do it. So, anyway, so let's go ahead with this one. It's all fixed. Oh yeah, Kim and Mark are writing that it's all fixed. An outdoor cable had to be replaced. We're up and running. Hey, that's pretty good because they told you guys that they would get there between 5 and 7, which could mean like 1 minute to 7, and then and then they'll be doing the replacement up until 9 o'clock. All right, so this one goes out to anybody who's ever been on a blind date before. This was written by Kenny Larson. It's called Feet Don't Fail Me Now. And, you get a blind date, hey, man, all bets are off. But, all the audiences that I have polled, if you want to call it that, where I'd ask people, how many of you have been on a blind date before? I say, how many did it turn out good and how many not so good? And I will say that I would say about 50%, maybe even more, said it turned out pretty good. It was a pretty good date, which means their friends kind of had some kind of a clue about, whether they'd be a good match and so on. So anyway, this is a one, and there are other things. So let's get this going. Here we go. Well, I was standing in the men's room, washing my hands and reading writing on the wall, when I seen this one that said, if you want to have some fun, just give Bernice a call. Well, I had some dimes and I sure had the time. I figured, why not take a chance? See, I'm a kind of guy, I ain't never been shy, always looking for a little romance. Yeah, I said, feet don't fail me now, get me to the phone, feet don't fail me now. Well, I was picking them up and I was laying them down, feet don't fail me now. Well, I headed for that phone like a dog at a bone. I dropped the money down into the slot. Yeah, and she came on the line with a voice so fine. I figured, ooh, the lady sounded hot. I said, are you free? She said, well, practically, but for you, I'll make an exception. I said, oh, my. She said, bye-bye, and I headed in her direction. Yeah, I said, feet don't fail me now. Get me to her place. Feet don't fail me now. Well, I was picking them up and I was laying them down. I was singing, feet don't fail me now. Well, I rang the bell. I was nervous, you could tell. And then she came to the door. You never seen such a mess wearing a dress, Miss Ugly 1954. She had little beady eyes and rhinoceros thighs and hips that was amazing. A face like a horse, bad breath, of course. Why, she could eat an apple through a chain link fence. And I ran, I said, feet don't fail me now. Get me out of here, feet don't fail me now. Well, I was picking them up and I was laying them down. I was singing, feet don't fail me now. While I was moving down that road like a scalded toad, I was wheeling, man. I was flying. That was a mighty close call, that message on the wall. Jack, I'm dying if I'm a lion. And then I heard a sound that made my poor heart pound. I thought I was going to lose my mind. My blood ran colder as I looked over my shoulder, because here come Bernice right behind, and she was singing. She sang, feet don't fail me now. Feet don't fail me now. She was picking them up and she was laying them down, singing, feet don't fail me now. There's a little more to that. Feet don't fail me now. Feet don't fail me now. Well, we was picking them up and we was laying them down, singing, feet don't fail me now. And that's how it happened. Well, let's see what so. Jeannie and Brent made it here. Good. Okay, you guys. And Mom says Kitty is listening. And then Kim Wright comments with a cat. Oh, very well. I wonder why she's listening. Maybe she recognizes my voice, from the times that I've been over there. She doesn't run away from me anymore. That's pretty good to know. Speaking of kitties, I have one here that Kitty might enjoy. It's more about a dog, but I do have to tell you that I played this song at an animal rights activist convention, and they didn't like it very well. As a matter of fact, they banned me for life. They said, you're never coming back here again. And I said, well, you get a new president next year. They said, we're passing it down. It's going into our books for all time. You're never coming back here again. So here it is. It's called the Fur Coat Song. This is written by a fellow by the name of Mike Snyder. He's been on the Grand Ole Opry lots of times because people like his work. He's really good. So our cats love coming out to listen to the show. Is that right? That's weird. They like music. Cool. All right, here we go. That doesn't sound right. Oh, it's because it's not. All right, here we go. What? Wait a minute. I got to tell you what I'm doing here. I put on my old glasses. I like these glasses a lot, but they wouldn't. They at the glasses place they said, everything's breaking down on these things. We can't guarantee that you'd be able to use them. And I wrote to the company that makes the frames, and they said we don't have that frame anymore. But I was wearing these for close-up. But look at what happens right across here. I get these kind of strange, these bluish things that kind of reflect off there because of some coating they put on that's protective. And I just didn't like the way it looked. I like to, you get a little reflection here, but you can see my eyes. So anyway, I switched to that, and but it also means, as a result, that I can't see things quite as well. So when I was over here pushing the buttons, I thought I was pressing 22, and I was pressing 32. So little explanation about some of the things that are going on here. But I want to be able to see you guys. Well, I want to be able to see my music, too, so I don't know how we're going to deal with all of that. All right, so let's go back to the song that got me banned from the animal rights activists. Here we go. That's the beat. Well, since all our friends have got one, now my wife wants one too. A knee-length fuzzy fur coat ain't nothing else gonna do. She said that she'd look real classy and she'd make me real proud of her if I just break down and buy her that fur. Well, now that got me thinking, how am I going to swing that kind of deal? Lord knows I can't afford it, and I'm too afraid to steal. But the problem finally solved itself like a bolt out of the blue. It jumped right out in front of me on Highway 22. Yeah, that big old German Shepherd, I'm sorry, I know. My car he did not see. Now he's up in doggy heaven, and his hide belongs to me. Well, for 6 weeks down in the basement, I worked late most every night. It was really trial and error, but I finally got it right. And I carried it put it in a cardboard box and carried it upstairs to her. Oh man, she was tickled near plumb to death when she seen that fur. Yeah, now she's got herself a fuzzy fur coat and it reaches all the way down to her knees. But she's been complaining lately, said her closet's full of fleas. Yeah, she don't know that Fido is wrapped around her tight. She's really putting on the dog when we go out at night. Well, I think she'll feel a whole lot better when let me see. Wait, I gotta change. I gotta scroll the screen, sorry. Here we go. Well, she's been kind of depressed here lately ever since I backed out over the cat. Sorry, kitty. But I think she'll feel a whole lot better when I give her this new fur hat. Okay, all the kitties can leave the room if they haven't already. Joan made it. Okay. Oh, a little bit late, Joan. Also, by the way, Tim, who has been following this for, some way back at the beginning, says Tim is in the hospital right now. And Kim, if you want to put a note up there about that, because I don't have my email in front of me, you can let people know. Anybody who knows him well enough could go visit. I think Jack and Barb would come all the way from Illinois just to visit him. I'm sure of it. Yeah, that's right. How about you, Dave? You have a ways to come, too, to get over here. Well, I should also mention something here. In the Feet Don't Fail. This song is getting a little outdated because one of the things that that we say in the song is that, let's see, she's really putting on the dog. People don't know that phrase, especially young people putting on the dog. That doesn't mean anything to them. And of course, I'm not trying to say anything bad about you guys if you happen to do know that. But there you. Oh, McLaren, room 619. Okay, there you go. That's it. For Feet Don't Fail Me Now, the whole song is, well, a big part of the song is dependent on him going to a phone booth and not having a cell phone with him because he's dropping the money down in the slot and all that. You can barely find a pay phone booth anymore. So some of these things are, get a little long in the tooth, I guess you'd say it. Well, here's one that's a little long in the tooth because it's pretty... not politically correct. Anyway, this is a song. A few of the songs I'm going to do tonight are Shel Silverstein songs, and we did a whole show of his stuff one time a while back, about 6 months ago. This is a guy who wrote A Boy Named Sue on the cover of the Rolling Stone, and a little lesser known but brilliant The Winner, which I'm going to do here tonight. He was also a cartoonist for Playboy magazine and wrote nearly 25 children's books. One of them is called Where the Sidewalk Ends, one's called The Giving Tree, and another one called A Light in the Attic. And those are the most well-known ones. He died in 1999, and the thing that just broke my heart is I never realized that somebody I knew him. And he lived in Nashville, was writing songs for country singers. He lived in Nashville, and the people I knew were living in Nashville. And I had been to Nashville during that time, and they could have introduced me to him if I'd only known. But as I've said before, sometimes you meet people that are like, your heroes. As this guy's a great comedy songwriting hero of mine. Yeah. I'll get to that in a second. And I probably would have just went up to him and, if I remembered to shake his hand, I would have shook his hand, or I would have just gone, "Oh, you're good, man." Because I've done stupider things when I've met people that I knew. Well, I met the guys from Grand Funk Railroad. Remember that band? Some of the rock and roll band from the 70s. Grand Funk Railroad out of Flint, Michigan. I met them, and I went up and talked to them, and I was kind of, I asked a few logical questions, I suppose. But when I got back and joined Janice, she said, "Your zipper was down." The whole time I'm talking to him. Duh. So, okay, Jack and Barbara suggesting perhaps that maybe I should use a faux shepherd dog. I don't know. You can get a faux shepherd dog. You can get probably faux shepherd outfit or something. Okay, Kim says I actually have one of those. Woo, really? Life-size stuffed German shepherd? Are you serious? Or are you making that up? Mark Farner. Yep. You know what though? Mark Farner quit the band. He didn't want to. Was born again, and he only wants to go around and tour and do Christian music now. So I think that's really interesting, If you listen to him talk, though, I don't know. I listened to him talk, and some of the things he was talking about seemed a little out there. But hey, you know what? People go through things. Let them go through it. One of the things that it did for him is that he quit using drugs and drinking, and that made a difference in his life too. There are quite a few other performers who turned around like that. So, all right, enough about Shel Silverstein and the cool stuff. Here's a song that he wrote, and will insult all you women out there. So don't be insulted. Hey, it's just supposed to be a little tease here, and we got a few other ones that are like that too. So here we go. Oh, and I think I got the beat now too. Yeah, I can use that. Put another log on the fire. Cook me up some bacon and some beans. Go out to the car and change the tire. You can wash my socks and mend my old blue jeans. You can fill my pipe and then go fetch my slippers. Then boil me up another pot of tea. And put another log on the fire, honey, and come and tell me why you're leaving me. And don't I let you wash the car on Sundays? Don't I warn you when you're getting fat? Ain't I gonna take you fishing with me someday? Well, a man can't love a woman more than that. Ain't I always nice to your kid sister? Don't I take her driving every night? So sit here at my feet. I like it when you're sweet. And you know that it ain't feminine to fight. So put another log on the fire. Cook me up some bacon and some beans. Go out to the car and lift it up and change the tire. You can wash my socks and mend my old blue jeans. Well, fill my pipe and then go fetch my slippers. Boil me up another pot of tea. Then put another log on the fire, honey, and come and tell me why you're leaving me. Okay, what she says, love all the song history. Yeah, Kim says, I'm serious, but it is in honor of my very first dog. In honor of that, it isn't a real dog, it's a toy, but life-size. Okay, yes, that would be a faux shepherd dog, yes. And I guess if you wanted to, you could split it open, take out all the stuffing, and put your arms down the sleeves and stretch it out. I wonder if that still would have upset the animal rights activist people. Now, here's another thing, though, of interest. I did the song at a convention of dog catchers. Well, you know, as the people that they have a much more a nicer name for it, but I did it for them, and they thought that song was very funny. Well, I think probably many of them have been bitten by dogs so many times that they're going, yeah, it's okay, one less, you know. I don't know. I'm just, suggesting that possibly is it. Well, let's see. What was I going to talk about? I was going to talk. I just stumbled onto another one of these. Okay. Susan is here. Susan Curtis. Hi, Susan. Good to see you. I know. I hope some of you got that email that I sent about how to set up a Google account. And by the way, one of the things I forgot to mention, and if any of you are out there observing but not sure you want to get a Google account, they don't charge any. It's free for a Google account. But that means you're probably giving them something. And, Google may be tracking your history on the web. And they probably are, whether you're a Google member or not. But it's not that it's personal, by the way. They use that information to help them figure out how to sell things to you, which I've said before, I think it's pretty cool. When I first got the internet and they were putting up these stupid ads that I went, what's that got to do with me? Then gradually over time, I started getting ads that were exactly what I would like to see. And I went, well, now this is more interesting. Oh, yes, I was looking at that and I forgot. I would like to get that. That kind of a thing. I'm quite a bit happier with the ads, except the ads that appear at the front of YouTube videos. Sorry, YouTube, I know you're helping us, but at the front of YouTube videos, they put in some stuff that just has no connection to me whatsoever. Well, some of it. Some of it's pretty good, but some of it's kind of off there. Anyway, long way around it. What I wanted to tell you, I don't think I've ever told you that some members of my family were on the Family Feud. And it was during my first marriage. I was living in Bakersfield, California, and we would watch Family Feud at her parent. We'd go into her parents' house and quite often have dinner in the evening, and then we'd watch Family Feud. And we thought, at one point I said, we could get on that show. Well, that's because we're sitting around the living room and making guesses. And of course, when you're relaxed and it's easy going and the lights aren't on you, it's easy to be so clever. So I wrote down to the Family Feud TV show, because they'd give you the information, the contact information, and we set up, and they set up an audition. And since we were in Bakersfield, only about an hour and a half from Los Angeles, why, we figured, yeah, let's go on down, we'll audition. Well, we had my brother come down. He was living in Sacramento or even further north at the time, and his wife came on with us because only certain ones of us were pretty good at this. Now, the only reason I was part of it, not because I was any good at it, was because I came up with the idea. And I thought, well, I'll be okay on the show. Well, okay, we passed the audition. Big important part is that you have to act very excited all the time. They want you to seem enthusiastic. And so that was a big part of the audition. And they ran us through a simple series of questions. But again, we're not on the real stage. We don't have the lights in our face. And there isn't an audience of 150 people or so out there sitting down. So, a couple of months later, we went down for the real filming of the show, and they film a bunch of them in one day. They do like 5 shows in one day, one right after the other. So you can imagine that the host could maybe get a little bit tired, but anyway, they did fine, and so we were on, and let me tell you, I couldn't answer a single question. Everything, the lights were on, I'm looking around, and I couldn't remember what was happening. I was just like, it was like I couldn't have been dumber if I was drunk or something, and everybody else did great. I have to tell you that my first wife and my brother were the people who always were able to come up with answers, and they often, most of the time, came up with answers that were different from each other. So they were the perfect people to do the big grand, round at the end. But what I have to say is we won, and during the time that when they announced, hey, we won, our family's all jumping up and down. I went, what are we doing? They already knew that we had won. We had the points. I think we had points or something, and I don't remember how it works, but they're all jumping out. Oh, we won. But that's how out of it I was from understanding. But fortunately, I was smart enough to pick the right 2 people. They went up and they did great. And so we won. They won the lightning round or whatever they call it, and again, they're all jumping up and down, and I didn't even know that we'd won. And so, we won the big grand prize in that. And as a result, the two of us and my wife and I ended up going to Hawaii on the winnings of that. And Hawaii was a beautiful place. It was really nice. So it was, even though I didn't help us win any. And, at some time in the future, I hope to post the link. Right now, I realize I have a copy of that show, but it's not up on YouTube anywhere. So eventually I may upload it there, and then I'll post a link, and then you guys can watch the silly show. It's well, you can watch me be stupid, that's all. Anyway, so that's part of my musical journey. It has nothing to do with my musical journey, but I thought I'd tell the story because I just had to tell on myself. All right, here's another little song that maybe I'll get a little drum beat for this one here. Yeah, this will work. Is it on? No, it's not on YouTube yet, but if I can get around to it, it'll be a few months before I can get to that. So this song was done by the Kingston Trio, and they went actually down to Trinidad, I think, and I believe that's in South America. Mom, you might know that. In Trinidad, and they got this folk song, and they recorded it and put it out on a single, and within 3 days, the FCC made all the radio stations take it down because they considered it too dirty. So you guys think about whether you think this is too dirty. Here we go. In Trinidad, there lived a family. In much confusion, you soon will see. There was a mama and a papa, and they had a son who wanted to marry and have a wife of his own. Woe is me. Shame and scandal in the family. Oh, woe is me. Shame and scandal in the family. Well, he found a girl who treated him nice. He went to his papa to ask his advice. His papa said, son, I gotta say no, 'cause that girl is your sister, but your mama don't know. Woe is me. A shame and scandal in the family. Oh, woe is me. A shame and scandal in the family. Well, he went to his mama and he hung down his head. He told his mama what his papa had said. His mama said, son, I gotta say go, 'cause your papa ain't your papa, but your papa don't know. Woe is me, a shame and scandal in the family. Oh, woe is me, shame and scandal in the family. Oh, it's in the Caribbean. Okay, I see. Very good. Thanks, Mom. That's great. You guys had been there, too. Didn't you guys go scuba diving down there? All right. I think that was part of, yeah. All right. Now I want to do a song, another Shel Silverstein song called The Winner. And it has a lot of verses to it, but boy, what a smart song. I mean, very, very clever. Okay, let me scroll up a little bit here, get it on my screen. And so, Kim says, check to see if the show has a YouTube page. Yes, it does. Leora's episode on the Victory Garden is still available. Yes. I didn't post the YouTube one. I mean, the Family Feud. But Mom's Victory Garden is definitely up there. Yep. That'd be fun. We'll post a link with that one of these times, too. All right. So, here we go. The Winner. I got to get my note. Well, okay. Well, a hunk of a man with a beer in his hand. He looked like a drunk old fool. And I knew if I hit him just right, I could knock him off of that stool. But everybody said, watch out. Hey, that's Tiger Man McCoo. He's had a whole lot of fights and he's always come out a winner. He's a winner, yeah. But I'd had myself about 5 too many, and I walked up tall and proud. I faced his back, and I faced the fact that he never stooped or bowed. I said, Tiger Man, you're a pussycat. And a hush fell on the crowd. I said, let's you and me go outside and see who's a winner. Well, he gripped the bar with one big hairy hand and he braced against the wall. He slowly looked up from his beer, and my God, that man was tall. He said, boy, I see you're a scrapper, so just before you fall, I'm gonna tell you a little about what it means to be a winner. He said, you see these bright white shining teeth, you know they ain't my own. Mine rolled away like chiclets down the streets in San Antone. But I left that person cursing, nursing 7 broken bones. And he only broke 3 of mine. That makes me the winner. He said, now behind this grin, I got a steel pin that holds my jaw in place. A trophy of my most successful motorcycle race. And each morning when I wake and touch this scar across my face, it reminds me of all I got from being a winner. Now this broken back is a dying act of a handsome Harry Clay. It was a sticky Cincinnati night when I stole his wife away. But that woman, she gets uglier and meaner every day. But I got her, boy. That makes me the winner. He said, you gotta speak loud when you challenge me, son, 'cause it's hard for me to hear. With this twisted neck and these migraine pains and this big old cauliflower ear. And if it wasn't for this glass eye of mine, why, I'd shed a happy tear to think about all that you're gonna get from being a winner. I got arthritic elbows, boy. I got dislocated knees. from picking fights with thunderstorms and charging into trees. And my nose been broke so often, I might lose it if I sneeze. And son, you say you still want to be a winner? All right. Now you remind me of my younger days with your knuckles clenching white. But boy, I gotta sit right here and sip this beer all night. And if there's something you gotta gain or prove by winning some silly fight, well, okay, I quit, I lose, you're the winner. So I stumbled from that bar, not so tall and not so proud. And behind me, I still hear the hoots and the laughter of the crowd. But my eyes still see and my nose still works and my teeth are still in my mouth. And you know, I guess that makes me the winner. Well, that is some good advice. That is some good advice, isn't it? Oh, man, I met so many people. I played a lot of places, and I ain't a fighting type person. I got no ability whatsoever. But if I did, I think this would mean something to me. So, all right, so what else we have? Notes that people have written here. Let's see. Mom says, yeah, we went to Tobago to dive, and Lenine stayed with the Andersons in Trinidad while we dived. Oh, I didn't know Lenine didn't dive with you. I guess I probably did at one time. She also wrote, Trinidad is where the original tar pits still are. They use that tar for their roads. Well, how about that? There are tar pits of Los Angeles, too, from what I know. Maybe there are probably a lot of them different places. Well, all right, I'm going to skip ahead to a different one that, by golly, this darn song makes me think it could have been written by Shel Silverstein, but it's not. So it's so clever. It's written by Mo Jaffe and Dwight Latham. Al Jaffe. There's a guy named Al Jaffe who used to do the cartoons on the back of Mad Magazine where you'd fold it in and it would have a different meaning altogether. The picture would meld and then the text across it would be something else. Lenine was 10 years old. Yeah, she's not supposed to die. All right, thank you. I got some ham. You know what? I'm missing William. I don't see William on here tonight. I hope he would. William seemed to have this whole thing figured out pretty well last time. So anyway, this song, I've done it before here. It's called I Am My Own Grandpa. I don't know if I did this rest of the story, though. Okay, the last few years, well, maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years, there have been a lot of talk about artificial insemination and surrogate mothers and all that kind of stuff. And people usually get hung up on whether the woman who gives birth has the right to change her mind about keeping the baby and that kind of thing, which is a little scary. You plan to have a baby and they say, hey, I changed my mind. But one of the things that gets passed over is the question of who is related to whom after this whole thing takes place. For instance, not long ago, I read an article about a young couple who found out that they couldn't have children because the wife was infertile. Apparently, they were fairly young because then they went to her mother, and the mother volunteered to be a surrogate mother. Probably must have been younger than 40 years old. They advise you not to mess around with that. Everything sounded okay. Yeah, okay. I even saw some messages from him yesterday on Facebook. So, so her mother then volunteered to be the surrogate mother. That's sort of now. I'm not even going to get into the number of possible ways they could go about fertilization. I'll leave that up to you. But if this thing were to take place, picture this: the baby is born. Let's say it's a boy. Biologically, the baby would be the son of his own legal grandmother. Well, not really. Well, biologically, yeah, I guess he would if they, depending on what they did. But yes, he could biologically be his own, the son of his own legal grandmother. And his legal mother, that's the woman who couldn't give birth to the baby in the first place, his legal mother would be his biological sister, and his father, the father would also be his brother-in-law. Okay, if you think that situation is complicated, listen to this one. Okay? And aside from that, I wanted to mention too. Oh, Mark made it. Mark E. Fresh. Okay, cool. This song was done by the Muppets. So whatever you think about whether it's appropriate or not, the Muppets recorded this song. So here it goes. Not so many years ago, when I was 23, I was married to a widow who was pretty as can be. The widow had a grown-up daughter who had hair of red. Father fell in love with her, and soon the two were wed. This made my dad my son-in-law, which changed my very life. 'Cause my daughter was my mother, 'cause she was my father's wife. To complicate the matter, even though it brought me joy, I soon became the father of a bouncing baby boy. Is this complicated or what? Yeah. All right. The little baby then became a brother-in-law to Dad, which meant he was my uncle, though it made me very sad. For if he were my uncle, then that also made him brother to the widow's grown-up daughter, who of course was my stepmother. Oh, I'm my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. Oh, it's crazy, I know, but it really is so. Oh, I'm my own grandpa. Oh, it's not over yet. No, there are more verses. Here we go. Now, father's wife then had a son, which kept them on the run. But he became my grandchild because he was my daughter's son. My wife is now my mother's mother. Okay, think about it. My wife is now my mother's mother. Although it makes me blue, because although she is my wife, she's my grandmother too. If my wife is my grandmother, then I am her grandchild. And every time I think of it, it nearly drives me wild. For now I have become the strangest case you ever saw. As husband of my grandmother, I am my own grandpa. Oh, I'm my own grandpa. Bum, 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 I'm my own grandpa. Oh, it's crazy, I know, but it really is so. Oh, I'm my own grandpa. Yes, it's crazy, I know, but it really is so. Oh, I'm my own grandpa. And you know, I took some time with this song and went through every combination they were talking about, and it's right. It's absolutely right that every one of these situations is possible. Unbelievable. Okay, let's have fun with this one here. This is a song I do quite a bit in my shows called The Chicken Song. I had some chickens, no eggs would they lay. I did this one at the last show you saw, Mom. I did this, had some chickens, no eggs would they lay. One day that rooster got into the yard and caught those chickens right off of their guard. They're laying eggs now, just like they used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. They're laying eggs now, just like they used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. I had a fruit tree, no fruit would it give. I had a fruit tree, no fruit would it give. One day that rooster got into the yard and caught that fruit tree right off of its guard. It's given eggplant now, just like it used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. It's given eggplant now, just like it used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. I had a moo cow, no milk would she give. I had a moo cow, no milk would she give. One day that rooster got into the yard and caught that moo cow right off of her guard. You guys know this one. She's given eggnog now, just like she used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. She's given eggnog now, just like she used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. I had a gum tree, no gum would it give. I had a gum tree, no gum would it give. One day that rooster got into the yard and caught that gum tree right off of its guard. It's given chicklets now, just like it used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. It's given chicklets now, just like it used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. There was a monastery, no monks would it give. There was a monastery, no monks would it give. One day that rooster got into the yard and caught that monastery right off of its guard. Unless you've heard this one before, you're not going to get it. It's given friars now, just like it used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. It's given friars now, just like it used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. Okay, last verse. And my old band members used to like this one. They would just sit back there, oh, that's a great song. Like, I had a marijuana plant, no leaves would it grow. I had a marijuana plant, no leaves would it grow. One day that rooster got into the yard and caught that marijuana plant right off of its guard. We've got chicken pot pie now, just like we used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. We got chicken pot pie now, just like we used to, ever since that rooster got into the yard. Yes, chicken song as they call it. We've got a chicken, and we've got a little chicklet coming out of its egg like that. Kim Wright, you can find that. How do you find that stuff? You must have a pretty good search engine in your emoji file. Either that, or you've taken all your favorite ones and put them up the top, so you're ready to go with it. But how would you get ready with those two? I don't know. Oh, let's see. So there's a chicken song now. Let me see. I did. Oh, Grandpa. Let's do this one next. This is another Shel Silverstein, the third Shel Silverstein song of the show here. This one's called 10. Let me see. This one, it may take me a minute to get the thing figured out. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I was sitting in Friday sucking. Yeah, here we go. And I think some people call it the numbers song. I was sitting in Friday sucking on a glass of wine, when in walked a chick who almost struck me blind. She had wet blue eyes and legs were long and fine. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give her a 9. Now on my scale there ain't no 10s, you know, 'cause a 9 is about as far as any chick can go. Oh, there we go. So I flashed her my smile, but she didn't even look at me. Where's my coat? So for brains and good judgment, I'd give her a 3. I said, hey, sweet thing, you look like a possible 8. And me and you could maybe make 18 if your head's on straight, like that. Well, she looked up and down my perfect frame and said these words that burned into my perfect brain. She said, well, another one of those macho mathematician men who grade all women on scale of 1 to 10. And you give me an 8. Hey, that's a generous thing to do. See how much I give you. She said, and we go up like this. She said, you coming on to me with that phony numbers jive. Your style makes me smile. I give it a 5. And when you walked in, I noticed that suit of yours. It's last year's double knit frayed cuffs. I give it a 4. That must be your car parked out on the curb. That 69 homemade convertible, a 3 1/3. Now, as for your build, I'd give less than a 5. Except for that pot belly of yours. I'll give that a 10 for size. Now that wine you're drinking, it might be fine for you, but I'm used to fine champagne. I give your wine a 2. Now it's hard to tell from that flashing smile his worth. I'd give it a 6. You could use some dental work. But it's your strutting rooster act that makes me laugh. I give it a 10. Well, those country hens might give it a 10, but for me, about 3.5. And there really ain't much to add once the subtracting's done. Since there ain't no zeros, I'll give you a 1. Well, she walked out while up and down the line. That whole bar was laughing, said, hey man, that happened to your 9. 9, I said. Hell, as soon as she started talk, I knew. She didn't have no class. I barely gave her a 2. Yeah, no matter how good they look at first, there's flaws in all of them. That's why on a scale of 10 to 1, friend, there ain't no 10. Well, I'm telling you, Shel Silverstein can really milk everything out of an interaction like that. I mean, verses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are like 9 or 10 verses to this thing. And you know, if he'd have been putting this out now, this would not be a country hit. And this was. Bobby Bare recorded this. He recorded this one, and he recorded The Winner, which is the other one that I did earlier. All right, let's do this. This one is I hope not too far. You know what? I want, because of the time. I got time for this. Let's do both of these here. It says that. No, I can't play that beat. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah, this has some cool chords. And doggone it, if you listen to it much, you think, yeah, Shel Silverstein could have written this. But in fact, it turns out, well, I'm not positive that Paul Stuckey wrote this. Let me see if I can find any notes on it. Just a second here. No, it doesn't show up there. I went out to find out. I know that Paul Stuckey had done this song, but I don't know that he wrote it. Let me see if I have any notes at the bottom of the screen here. No, nothing about that either. I tried to find out who wrote it, but I was unsuccessful. So here we go. Oh, wait, before I do this, let me mention one other thing. YouTube also, depending on who they make deals with, different publishers, they may or may not be allowed to broadcast one of the songs that I do, one or more of the songs that I do. So they can't cut it out during the time that I'm performing it live, but afterward they may blank it out. So in some regards, this may be the only way to see some of these songs. But not these. Most of these I don't think are going to get picked up that way. It's usually if you're trying to play a track from somebody else's stuff, and some karaoke stuff might be gone, but this one will be okay. Scary Time 10 and yeah. Oh, there you are. You made it. Oh, you're here after all. I was kind of worried about you because I didn't see you. Usually you log on really quickly. So here we go. Well, I went to see my doctor. I said, Doc, I can't pay my bills. The rent's all spent, the truck's got a dent, and I think I'm getting the chills from being forced to sleep alone. You see, this house just ain't no home. I can't afford no more kids. My life is on the skids 'cause my woman won't. Says, leave me alone unless you get a vasectomy. You gotta get a vasectomy. Just a one little male alteration could save us from another altercation. I get a vasectomy. You gotta get a vasectomy. Oh, what a vast difference there would be. A little medical terminology there. Well, the next thing I know, I'm lying on a table with a light shining in my eyes. They strap my wrists, they strap my ankles, and they double strap my thighs. Well, the nurses were a-giggling and I was a-wiggling most uncomfortably when the doc walked in with a perverted grin, and here's what he said to me. It only hurts for a little while. That's what they tell me. That's what they say. Ah! Well, it's 2 weeks later. I feel a little better. My mind is more at ease. The rent's still spent, the truck's got a dent, but my woman's no longer a tease. And even down at the office, there's been a lot more interest in me. Well, the girls all grin when I walk in, and brother, they mean to please. I met with a vasectomy. You ought to get a vasectomy. I like a fun-kissed orange. I've been squeezing, it's all juice. There ain't no seed with a vasectomy. You ought to get a vasectomy. Oh, what a vast difference. It's beginning to make a little sense. Oh, what a vast difference there would. Here is the part that I like most. It takes the danger out of being close. So what a vast difference. A vast difference there would. They strip those little suckers right in two and they clamp them off with super glue. What a vast difference there would be. Oh, you sent me a Facebook. Okay. It really didn't comment on YouTube because sometimes my comments disappear on me. I know it's weird about that, isn't it? Yeah. William, I know. They're weird stuff. I know this song isn't that an amazing song? People dream these things. Tim sometimes has come up with alternate verses and choruses for songs, but to come up and invent one straight out from zero, very impressive. All right, I want to do one more, and I did this one fairly recent. It's a song that I wrote. Let's see. YouTube really messed you up in the past. Yeah, so I have to be careful. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Cool. Well, this one, I did this one really fairly recently, probably just maybe a month or maybe a couple weeks ago. It's a song I wrote called "Roll with the Punches," and I just want to get you guys familiar with some stuff that I'm doing. I'm pretty proud of this. It's not as good as some of these other ones, but well, maybe it is to you. I think it's pretty good. So. Here it is. This will actually be my last official full song, and then we'll log off with the other one where I turn into a ghost and disappear. Here it is. Roll with the punches. I was working on Highway 95. I got to feeling a lot more dead than alive when along came the boss and accused me of goofing off. Well, the nerve. When he started shouting when I saw red, and then he fell on my shovel and he hit his head. I knew I was going to have a hard time explaining that one. Looks like I'm out of a job again. You've got to roll with the punches. You gotta roll with the punches or the punch is gonna get you down. You've got to roll with the punches. 'Cause the trees that bend are the ones that stay in the ground. My mean old lady skipped out on me. She took my stereo, my car, and my color TV. The police seemed a little slow about tracking her down until I found a little black book full of numbers and names, including 25 cops. Oh, scandal and shame. Looks like somebody was getting a little police action. I knew there was something funny about that girl. You've got to roll with the punches. You gotta roll with the punches or the punches gonna get you down. You've got to roll with the punches. 'Cause the trees that bend are the ones that stay in the ground. I got 5 cents back from the IRS. I had to celebrate. I know I had a good time, I guess. When I woke up, I couldn't believe what happened to me. As I was leaving the bar, I propositioned a hound, and when the dog catcher came, I spent the night in the pound. No, girl, I don't want none of your dog food. Well, let's put it that way. I believe I'll try a little. You got to roll with the punches. You gotta roll with the punches or the punch is gonna get you down. You got to roll with the punches. 'Cause the trees that bend are the ones that stay in the ground. You gotta roll with the punches or the punch is gonna get you. Roll with the punches or the punch is gonna get you. Roll with the punches or the punch is gonna get you down. All right, well, that is the official end of the last song, but I'm going to go ahead and play the little bit of that, what I call TV segment music, as a little background while we're fading out. Thank you all for taking the time to come over here and find me on, on YouTube. Sorry we had to change, but hey, Facebook, you weren't doing a very good job. You got to get your act together, folks. So thank you all for being here. I will be back here next week. As long as everything goes well, and we'll figure out what that show is going to be. I don't know yet at this time. I just don't know. And I want to try to bring the volume down a little bit. Nope, can't do it. I don't know how to do it, so I'm just going to go ahead and let it play. See you next time, everybody. I'm going to fade out. The library will disappear now, and we'll see you next time.